Welcome back to the channel, folks, and yes, we are in the Reverb G2 using the OASIS driver. And this video, well, it has two purposes today. One is, as you can see in front of me, we're going to fly this very beautiful business jet. It's by Carenado, and you know what, I am a bit of a fanboy when it comes to Carenado biz jets. They may not be the most high fidelity you've ever seen in your life in terms of study level, but you know what, as you know from this channel, I often showcase very complex general aviation aircraft, so I wanted to show something a bit more in the middle ground. This is the kind of bird that you're going to have a lot of fun with. It has a nice amount of realism, but it's not going to take a whole 6 months to learn, you know, and have a massive manual and everything. This is a nice middle ground solution, and let's have a quick look at the walk around feature here, which is nicely modelled. It has a few nice little touches. So this is the first thing that I'm going to be showcasing today in this video, but it got me thinking, what's that noise? What is that noise? Oh, hello. Do you mind? I'm trying to make a video here. It got me thinking, let's try the Reverb G2 again, because essentially this is going to have the same or very similar panels to the new Valve Steam frame at 2160 per eye LCD display. So I wanted to get acquainted with it again, give it a bit of a test run, a full flight, to see how things feel with it. And to answer the question, is 2160 per eye LCD, well, is it enough for most people out there? Now this video is even more complicated to make, simply because I know this channel is all about high-end, or often is, but not always, and I don't want it to be. I want this channel to get back to mid-range VR headsets as well. So I'm not going to think about this and compare it to something like the Pimax Crystal 50 ppd or micro OLED version. That would be absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to see it from a more critical thinking point of view, you know, comparing this to the Quest 3, for example, and to see if I can actually manage to fly something like this in a headset which has a much lower resolution than I'm used to. Do you know what? This aircraft feels pretty damn big in VR, actually. And I do believe you can, yes, look at this, look, you can check the rudders, you can check the ailerons, you can do the full walk around with this. And I must say, what do you reckon, folks? I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I think you'll agree, folks, that in terms of the external modelling, it is typical Carenado. That is, it is exceptional. They've always been really, really good at the modelling, you know, very, very sharp. Textures look fantastic, even in the Reverb G2. It just looks really, really very convincing here. Right, anyway, let's just, I need to close that now. Don't know how hang on, let me do it with the mouse. There we go. So let's climb aboard and see how it feels in the Reverb G2 as we do a full flight from St. Crepin here in the Alps. I think we're going to a place called Balp. I'm not quite sure. We are in Europe, and look at this, the visuals here. It's going to be a stunning flight, and it'd be interesting to see what kind of performance we're getting, because I've no idea, but I'll check the FPS counter and all that good stuff. But let's climb aboard and see what it's like. I've recently been flying this in the Pimax Crystal OLED as well, so I'm not going to compare it. I'd be stupid to do that, but you know, oh, okay, here we are inside the aircraft, and actually that's a bit weird because, you know, I'm not really in the right viewpoint here, and I'm too low. That's a bug, I think, Carenado. We need to sort that out. By the way, it is worth noting that Carenado did send this across for review, but of course, as always, my opinions are my own, and first of all, I have noticed a bug here, so let's go to pilot. So yeah, Carenado, you do need to take note of that. When we get into the aircraft, we need to be in this position, especially in VR anyway. So, as I say, this aircraft looking absolutely beautiful in the cockpit. In fact, we'll just have a quick look in the back. No, actually, we'll do that later. Let's get cracking with the checklist. We've got a stunning flight today, And so I'm not going to take too long about this. What is going on here? This is the latest sim update for, and it's still not quite right. At the time of recording, this is still the beta. So we do have a checklist system, and I'm just going to see how well I can read it as well. If I can remember how to get to it. Aircraft, checklist. You see, this feels fine to me. I've said this before, like, even though I love high resolution VR, of course, you know, I am not, I haven't forgotten what it's like to try a mid-range VR headset. And you know, even with these Fresnel lenses, yes, there's a small sweet spot. I hate Fresnel lenses, I really do. But I'm just trying to imagine what this might be like with like Quest 3 style pancake lenses. It actually would look really nice, guys. It is still a very nice resolution. You know, I said 2160 by 2160 in 2019 was really sharp. And that's always going to be a thing. Just because there's new headsets out, it doesn't mean that suddenly 2160 per eye isn't sharp anymore, you know? It's still exactly what I said when I first reviewed this headset. So I think there is a lot to be excited about here with the Valve theme frame. You know, it's not all bad news. In terms of screen door, well, if I look for it, yes, I can see it, but I mean, it's really minimal. Not as bad as the Quest 3. Now, I think part of that is because these lenses are not canted. But anyway, let's just get the batteries all sorted. Right, first of all, before engine start, everything is all off. That is fine. Okay, right, so battery master on. This is when things get really interesting. How is this going to look in 2025 and 2026? These sorts of visuals where there's really small text here. Okay, fuel quantity has been checked. Master test. Oh yeah, that's up here. Now listen to this. This is a nice little touch from Carenado. That's the stick shaker. Oh wow. Nice touch there. I really like all that. Very cool. Appreciate that. So all that is working. Okay, navigation light as required. Beacon light is on. I'm using my alpha. Ignition to arm, engine start. So this aircraft is very easy to start. A lot of it is FADEC, you know, automated. So ignitions are on. I'll put them both on actually. And let's get engine number 1 started. And let's listen to those sounds with these very nice Index inspired speakers, funny enough. Something that I hope will be an option with the theme frame. Oh no, that does sound very nice. That sounds very nice indeed. That's another thing Carenado seemed to get right. That sounds and the modelling are all on point, and the Proline avionics package is also exactly what it's like in the real thing. So yeah, so far so good. Okay, so we've got a good engine start on both engines. Generator can now be switched on, which is here. They're already on there. Standby. Oh, hang on, that's a binding issue there. If I switch that off, there we go, that's on. Avionics can be switched on now. And that is it, folks. So we just got our before takeoff checklist to do. The FMS down here. I'll just zoom in for you guys. I'll just make sure we've got our position all set up here. And this is our flight plan today. It's going to be absolutely stunning. I can read all that actually. That is fine, even in a 2160 by 2160 display. There's a discontinuity there, just get rid of that. And execute. Fantastic. We'll put our pitot heat on. And anti-skid. Time to get out of here, folks. Now this is a very short runway, so we'll have to see how we get on with this. think it'll be a full flap departure. But this is going to be stunning. I'm going to be careful because I am very large for this airport. Probably don't get many business jets flying from St. Crepin. But look at this. This does look really good, folks. This video is proudly sponsored by FS Academy, and they've got a new range of mission packs for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 called Interceptor. This all new 30 mission training pack is designed to put your IFR skills to the test and includes a wide range of essential topics such as holding patterns, ILS, VOR and NDB approaches, VOR and NDB navigation, and these techniques you will learn will feel really rewarding and will stay with you forever. Take the first step towards IFR today and embark upon an unforgettable and rewarding journey. Please check out FS Academy Interceptor in the notes below. Right then folks, I've just adjusted the sound a little bit because I was shouting because of the engine, so sorry about that. And I know the Reverb G2 can be very sensitive to that, so the microphone that is. Right, anyway, landing light is on, strobe is on, recog light. Hang on a minute, let me just check the checklist because I just want to see how it feels, you know, with this display, doing all the checks. So flight controls, yeah, all good. Flaps, we're going to set them to full because we need a lot of lift here. Altimeter, that was checked before. We've got our flight plan in. EGPWS test. I'm not quite sure what that is. Let's just do that. Ah, nice. So, this is a nice aircraft, guys. I like it, I really do like it. You know, it's not a black square aircraft, okay? But sometimes you just don't really fancy flying something really complicated. And this has plenty of depth and you know, that feeling of being in a business jet with the quality of a aircraft made for MSFS 2024 without, you know, as I say, spending weeks learning it. Right, anyway, let's go. I'm not sure we're going to get to the end of this. This is quite a short runway, so let's hope we make it. Okay, 60 knots. 80 knots. Oh, this is going to be close. 100 knots. Rotate. Oh my god. Yeah, that was very dangerous. I would not recommend doing that in real life, of course. Right, anyway, so flaps are coming up, gear is coming up, that's why we got that warning there. And we are airborne, guys, in the Reverb G2. And I must say, all things considered, this is looking really nice. Really nice. I'm telling you folks, for me, screen door effect is not an issue in this headset. It's more of an issue in the Quest 3, and that's because of those canted displays. So let me explain what that means. Basically, the pixels in this are completely square and uniform because the displays are not canted and moved. The thing is about the Quest 3, and this could be the same when the Steam frame releases, is if you cant the displays, the squares turn into diamonds, and then the sort of display, the pixels, are a little bit more obvious. So that's something I'm going to test when I get the Steam frame, because I will be getting it, folks. I've decided I will be getting it to test. It makes sense, folks, and to be honest, I am quite excited about this new streaming capabilities as well. Even though it is a wireless headset, so we don't have a DisplayPort connection, I really hope that we're going to get really nice visuals, because this is Valve we're talking about here. And wow, look at that for an absolutely amazing picture. That is a screenshot right there. And it's funny, even with all the headsets I've tried, this still impresses me in terms of the visuals. It looks good. Right, anyway, let's now go into FLC mode. So we'll just because I'm kind of not following the flight plan at the moment, so let's just, is it a quicker way of doing this? Not really. I want to kind of there we go. Right, autopilot on, FLC and nav mode, and we'll keep climbing up. Check the autopilot works as intended. Right, so we're going to speed up to 213 knots, as you can see here, and then we're going to climb at 213 knots, which should give us a decent climb performance. Although I haven't actually set this, I want to go a lot higher than this, so let's just do that again. FLC mode. I'm fighting the sticky mouse issue as well in MSFS 2024 sim update 4 beta. So we'll just take the speed back to 220 knots, climb, and yet the autopilot is working a treat. Very nice. And I think what we'll do also is we'll just go into heading mode so we can intercept our course. So we're past 10,000 feet, landing light can come off. That can be on my alpha yoke. Into the cloud we go, and ignitions can go to auto. And once we've settled, we'll go into the back and enjoy the rest of this flight. Wow, look at that. It looks very cold out there today. So in terms of performance, I actually thought I'd be getting better than this, but performance is ranging from 40s to 60s, and it's fluctuating quite a lot. I'm not quite sure why that's the case. It could be because I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast, which does sap performance. So I'll have to do a test without recording and see how this feels, but overall, of course, it's going to be very smooth, and that's the other case for a headset like this. Even with a 5090, folks, if you run a headset with this low resolution, you're going to really enjoy the performance. I think this should be capable of 90 frames per second in some cases with a 5090, but if you've got a much lower GPU, like a really low GPU, this will run it really well. I remember using the Reverb G1 with a 1070 Ti, 1070, and it still performed quite well. So there is a huge headroom of different GPUs that will run with this style of panel. That is definitely worth your consideration as well. And I do feel, you know, I know most of you out there are all about high-end VR, me included, but don't write off the Steam frame yet. I will tell you if it's crap, okay? I will definitely tell you. But basing on the fact that I'm now in a headset with 2160 panels, if I imagine this with a Quest 3 style pancake lens, there's a lot to be said for that. There really is. Right, we're now at 18,000 feet. We'll go standard on the pressure, which you already are actually, because it is already 2992. And yeah, all is well in the Carenado bizjet. Let's have a look in the back, shall we? So folks, welcome to first class. This is a very nice place to be, and Carenado have done a fantastic job of really making these textures pop. And let's see if we've got some features here. We've got foldable tables. That is very nice. I did actually take some through lens footage of the Crystal Super OLED looking at that table, and I'm not sure if you've seen that yet, but yeah, it looks photo real. And even in the G2, yes, obviously it's lower resolution and the colours don't pop as well, it still looks really, really good. Got window shades, very nice animations there. And yeah, in terms of the textures overall in the cabin, no wrong with them, absolutely, yeah, first class. That leather and the metals of the chair and the latches and the windows and the wood, the polished sort of look to it, oh, it looks really good in here. Yeah, the G2 still rocking, it really is. It's still a great headset, it's absolutely superb. I can't believe how old this is now, and it's still looking really nice. Well, what do you think to that, folks? Absolutely stunning views with the Carenado B390 which I feel ticks all the boxes for a mid-level aircraft. You know, it's the kind of bird that you can enjoy. There is some systems depth, but it's not too crazy that it's going to take you a long time to learn. All the bases are covered, the sounds, the textures, the modelling, the flying, feels all good in this. Yeah, I like it. Very, very nice. And as we head into some cloud here, absolutely stunning, gorgeous. What I'll do is pick this up a bit further down that road as we get onto the approach. In the Reverb G2 once again. Pretty cool, eh? So good to be back in this headset. Right then folks, you can see here with our weather radar. In fact, we just need to look outside. The weather is taking a turn for the worst here, and we need to make sure that we're on our flight plan. One thing that I am struggling with, and this could be user error, and that is V-NAV with this aircraft. I can't get it to work correctly, I don't know why. But yeah, we do need to descend, so making sure that that's set in the altimeter there. Clicking V-NAV. Should... oh, hang on, it's working now. Okay, it is working. That's funny. That just shows you, doesn't it? Just because I'm recording. Well, I'm glad it's working, because I was about to say that this aircraft does not seem to support V-NAV, but it does. That's another big plus, you know, because back in the day, you know, in FSX days, you know, V-NAV was a high-end feature for an aircraft. But nowadays, it's something that can actually be implemented with many different aircraft, even at this level. I really like that. So we can be confident in this IFR condition surrounding all these major mountains, because we don't have synthetic vision here, that we can be confident we are on the correct flight plan with the correct restraints as well. So we should be at, oh sorry, 8,600 or above. So yeah, I must change that actually. I thought it was 6,000. There we go. So yeah, that's interesting. I thought that 8 was a 6. So there we go folks. Even though the Reverb G2 is clear, I did confuse that 8 with a 6. Because I couldn't quite make that out. Even though I can read all this. Talno, Hamrid, Berkey, and all these here. Lima, Sierra, Zulu, Bravo. Look, there we go. I can read that. That 8 looked like a 6 to me. I think that's probably because of the resolution. It's just pushing it a bit too much there. Of course, you know, I could super sample this like crazy, like we could with the Steam frame even. Look at that, wow. You know, those things I will test, and I'm really looking forward to trying it, hopefully quite early in 2026, all being well. So yeah, we are rocking about here. I can almost feel it, but I'm not in the motion rig. There's a reason why I'm not in my motion rig at the moment, folks. A lot of people have asked me why am I not in my Doff Reality H2. All I'm going to say is, well, I can't say anything right now, but stuff's happening in the background, and all will be revealed in a not so distant future. But look at this. This is insane, isn't it? This is absolutely stunning views. Just, you know, making sure that the systems are all doing what they should do. Right, anyway, let's just do the checklist. Fuel balance is okay. That's within limits. We can transfer if we want to. That's all modelled. Passenger signs. Well, actually, that's a good point. We can put them on. Oh, by the way, the night lighting is very, very pretty in this. Let me just show you that. And I can also test the black levels in the Reverb G2 again. I haven't done that for a while. Let's just put the lights down for a moment. And... oh yeah, no, you know, this looks nice. I remember back in the day when I was doing my reviews that the black levels in the G2 are pretty good. I mean, obviously it is grey blacks, you know, but no, I still feel like this could be nighttime. It's alright. And more importantly, look at the lighting in this aircraft. Absolutely, really, again, very, very nice here. Look at that. Oh yeah. This is what Carenado do best, this sort of atmospheric feeling of being in this aircraft, together with these crazy high textures. Look at the seams and the, you know, the crinkly kind of leather there. It just looks so believable. Very, very high quality visuals and sounds to go with it as well. Yeah. Anyway, let's just go back to daytime again. We'll just get it to around 3 o'clock-ish. That's fine. That's actually changed the weather a little bit, which is interesting because it's not quite so bad, although it's still very, very cloudy. Flaps. Okay, we're going to put flaps to 10 degrees, but not quite yet. In fact, if anything, we need to just slow down because we're going to bust our 250 speed restriction at any moment. Let's just slow that down. But yeah, V-NAV is working a treat there. Look, V-Path. We're on Al-Nav as well. We've got weather radar support here. I mean, in all intents and purposes, this is working and behaving like a real B390 or Premier style aircraft. Feels good. Feels very nice. Really enjoying this flight, folks. I do like showcasing full flights on the channel. I know they don't get anywhere near the amount of views as a quick sort of 3-minute video showing something, but I really don't do videos just for views. If I did, wow, I wouldn't be doing a very good job, that's for sure. Right, anyway, seat belts and no smoking signs are on. Take them off now, we don't need them. Landing light can come on now, and we'll get ready for our descent into, I think it's Balp. And that is our star at the moment. We can check our generator, battery volts, all good there. Standby is off at the moment, that's fine. Yeah, this is a very nice place to be. I'm a bit slow now actually. One thing this aircraft does not have, and that is a auto throttle, I believe. Right, now that we're going into some weather, I am going to put the ignitions to on. And we'll also put a little bit of anti-ice on as well on the engine here. It is a very cold day. We don't want to ice up all of a sudden, because we're going to go into some cloud right now, and some of that looked quite snowy, to be fair. Okay, one more quick look outside and then we'll get the gear down. In fact, we'll do that from the outside view so you can see the animation. Right then folks, we're now in IFR conditions, as you can see here, and we're on the glide slope. Let's see how the aircraft performs. This is the perfect test here as well for this display, and it's absolutely fine really. I can read everything, no problem. Just goes to show you, doesn't it? You don't need the latest and greatest. Whoops, that's the wrong button. Right, okay, let's just disconnect the autopilot now, because I'm a little bit low here. This is quite spectacular. Not quite sure what happened there. I think it lost the glide slope there, but that's fine, we can correct. Look at this, look. This is photogrammetry as well, appearing in the murk. So yeah, a very dramatic final few moments here. I am way too low. But what a fantastic little aircraft from Carenado. It's really nice to see a business jet again, because, you know, I do love my prop planes and turbine planes, but there is something about a jet that's just so relaxing, this sound of it and everything. Here we go. We're on the glide slope. I can see the PAPI lights a little bit high now, and that does look, actually looks a little bit like snow. See if we can get this down in one piece. Wow, we've got a the wind isn't too bad. I like how we've got call outs. A little bit on the slow side here, but here we go. Yeah, that looks like snow to me, that. Oh, this is great. Nice windshield effects as well, I can hear them. Using the alpha yoke once again. Oh, a little bit of a bounce there. But we are down. Very enjoyable flight, that. Look at this scene. Oh, it makes me feel all cozy. You know, this flight has reminded me that you can still have a lot of fun, even with a resolution of 2160 per eye, and with a mid-range business jet. You know, I think this is actually a very nice rendition from Carenado. I wasn't expecting it to be quite as good as this. And look, it is actually snowing. I can see the snowflakes there appearing. Oh, it's getting worse. Beautiful. We've got an EasyJet aircraft, an ATR. So I hope you enjoyed this flight today. We've been in the Reverb G2, sort of getting used to that 2160 per eye display once again. And I'm pleased to tell you, I'm not disappointed. You know, and that's with Fresnel lenses. Hopefully the Steam frame should have a better panel than this, with the same resolution but better panel, because it's, well, 2026. Hopefully they can source, you know, maybe a brighter panel with pancake lenses. You know what? I'm really intrigued to try it. And this has been the Carenado brand new B390. Very nice little jet, gotta say. Thanks for watching, folks. As always, please feel free to subscribe. And William's just saying hello as well in the background, if you can hear him. And I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye for now.